So what were you thinking when you saw that Oval Office meltdown?
Well, I mean, the first thing, obviously, is, we have to realize why this is important and really what was at stake here. I mean, this is important because Ukraine is important. This is about the fight between, authoritarianism and freedom and democracy. This is the Ronald Reagan, evil empire against democracy. So as we're watching this fight, we have to be concerned about what's crumbling here and what needs to be put back together. I think that's what we all felt in our stomachs and our anxiety as we watched what was at risk here. The second thing is really how inappropriate this was for Zelenskyy. I mean, the context is this was a signing agreement. Zelenskyy had been negotiating with the United States on a minerals deal, an economic deal, as the Treasury Secretary said. He'd been doing so for weeks. I'd met with him with members of Congress in Munich. Right. He had told us some of the terms that he wanted. He had a successful deal. The United States had conceded. He was flying here under the pretext that he was going to sign this deal. This should have been a win. As he's sitting in the Oval Office, he said, I want the president to stand with Ukraine. In moments, he was going to be standing with the president of the United States with a win that he had negotiated. And instead of taking that win, he turned it into a debate on American security guarantees during on the peace negotiations, instead of taking that win and then from that going forward.
Well, it all went sideways after a Polish reporter in the room asked President Trump about his perceived alignment with Vladimir Putin. That's what the president reacted to. And then the vice president jumped in praising Trump's diplomacy. And that's when Zelenskyy said what he said about, well, what kind of ceasefire and diplomacy you're talking about. I brokered deals with Vladimir Putin in the past. Do you really think that this was all to blow it up, or was it just people are talking past each other? I mean, what do you actually think happened?
Well, I think fundamentally here, again, you don't fly, a quarter across the world for a signing ceremony for a deal with the President of the United States and turn it into a debate on American security guarantees, on peace negotiations that are unrelated to the mineral deal that the economic deal that you came to sign.
But you can't take things out of the context in the treat them in a vacuum. Earlier in the week, President Trump had referred to Vladimir Zelenskyy as a dictator.
Which he had retracted because the negotiations
had, and then he told people at the UN.
In Trump's way, he had taken back because the negotiations had gone forward in a way that was positive.
But this isn't happening in a vacuum.